Up to 85%. That is
Yeah.
the number of patients who, if they cannot get through to your clinic on their very first try, will simply hang up and never call back.
Wow.
85%. I mean, you build a beautiful facility, you hire top-tier clinicians, spend an absolute fortune on marketing, and then the front door to your practice is essentially a locked gate.
Right. It really is.
That staggering number is the invisible real-world cost of a voicemail-first design.
It is a massive silent leak in the whole of a clinic's revenue. And, well, most owners do not even realize it is happening because those callers, they never leave a message.
Welcome to the Pulse of Practice, Balancing Care and Commerce, the podcast, where we explore the real challenges clinic teams face every day and the practical tools and workflows that solve them.
So glad to be jumping into this one.
Today, the mission for this deep dive is really unpacking how to design a call tree that actually books appointments instead of, sending frustrated patients to voicemail.
Yeah.
We're going to explore what makes a phone experience feel modern, what fundamentally breaks it, and how AI-powered call handling is completely changing the game for multi-location health and wellness clinics.
The contrast between the old way and the new way is just striking. Because if 85% of callers are dropping off when they hit a wall, we really have to diagnose exactly why traditional phone menus fail patients.
I have to imagine a big part of that drop-off happens in the first, 10 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
As a patient, honestly, nothing is more frustrating than calling a clinic, desperate for help, only for an automated voice to cheerfully ask, "Did you know you can find most answers on our website?"
Right. The classic deflection.
I mean, I am calling because the website did not have my answer or because my problem is just too complex for a web form.
You are hitting on the very first structural flaw. We're pulling from user experience research by the Nielsen-Norman Group today.
Yeah.
And they use this great diagnostic tool. They outline what they call the 4 phone tree dilemmas.
Okay, I love a good framework.
Right. So what you just described is dilemma number 1, responsibility avoidance.
Responsibility avoidance. That makes sense.
Yeah, the organization is actively trying to deflect the interaction. They are essentially telling the caller, go solve this yourself.
Which sets up an immediate adversarial relationship. You are already annoyed. And I assume that ties directly into the second dilemma.
It does. Dilemma number 2 is conflicting goals.
Conflicting goals.
Yeah, so think about it. An organization uses a phone tree to save money, right, to avoid human interaction. The caller explicitly picked up the phone because they want a human to solve a nuanced problem.
Right. The clinic wants efficiency, but the caller wants empathy.
Exactly. Those two forces are just pulling in opposite directions from the very first ring.
That friction must compound the caller's emotional state, too. I mean, think about why someone calls a health and wellness clinic. They are not calling to chat.
Definitely not.
They are calling because their back went out, or they are dealing with a really messy insurance issue, or they are anxious about test results. They are already in a heightened state of stress.
Which brings us to dilemma number 3. Nielsen-Norman calls this the trapped caller scenario.
Trapped caller.
Yeah. People generally only call when they feel they have absolutely no other choice. If a digital pathway was easy, they would have taken it.
Right.
So by the time they were listening to your phone tree, they already feel cornered. They're essentially a captive audience forced to endure this tedious process just to get basic care.
That brings us to the psychological toll of the menu itself. You mentioned a fourth dilemma, and I want to dig into the mechanics of it.
Sure. It is called the no visual aid handicap.
No visual aid. So, when I am on a website, my eyes can scan a dozen options instantly, but on a phone call, I am trapped in a linear progression.
Exactly. The mechanism at play here is cognitive load, specifically targeting your short-term working memory. Human working memory can only hold a few pieces of arbitrary information at once. When a caller hears a list of 7 options, they are forced to actively rehearse those numbers in their head without any visual cues.
I picture it like being trapped in an invisible maze.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. Picture this. You walk into a building completely blindfolded, you have a sprained ankle, and a robotic voice starts shouting directions at you from the ceiling.
Sounds like a nightmare.
It is. You hear, press 4 for billing, so you start repeating the number 4 in your head. 4, 4, 4.
Right.
But then the voice says, press 5 for scheduling, or 6 for insurance. Suddenly, the new information overwrites the old information in your working memory. You completely forget what 4 was for, you miss option 5 entirely, and you are forced to wait for the menu to loop all the way back around.
It is an exhausting cognitive burden.
Yeah.
And we really cannot ignore the physical reality of where that exhaustion goes. These UX failures do not just evaporate when the patient finally presses the right button.
They carry it with them.
Exactly. That invisible maze dumps the patient directly into your physical waiting room or onto the phone with your front desk staff.
Ah, the spillover effect. So by the time that trapped, frustrated caller finally reaches a live human, their baseline stress has just skyrocketed and they take it out on the receptionist.
Unfortunately, yes.
So a poorly designed phone tree is not just costing you 85% of your inbound leads, it is actively demoralizing your front desk team who have to absorb the anger of the 15% who actually survive the maze.
Spot on. So if you are a clinic owner and you are currently locked into a traditional menu for now, how do you stop the bleeding?
Right, what is the triage?
There are practical redesign principles grounded in the UX research that can fix this. First and foremost, language options first.
Language first.
Universally.
Yeah.
But this is absolutely critical for Canadian clinics.
Oh, totally. Picture a clinic in Quebec trying to serve a really diverse patient base. You have Francophone and Anglophone patients calling in all day long. If a French-speaking patient has to listen to a full minute of English instructions just to find out if they can press 2 for French, they are gone. They are hanging up.
They are gone. But the bilingual dimension requires so much more nuance than just splitting the menu. The source material emphasizes that literal translation falls entirely short for patient-facing voice experiences.
What do you mean by literal translation?
Well, you cannot just take an English script, run it through Google Translate, have a generic robot read it, and expect it to resonate with a Francophone patient.
Ah, because tone is foundational in healthcare.
Exactly.
If the translated voice sounds stiff, or if it uses, say, European French terminology when the local population uses Quebecois terms for medical concepts, it just feels alienating.
Right, you lose trust instantly.
The voice experience really has to match the cultural context of the community it serves.
Definitely. So once you establish the language properly, the second principle focuses on how you label your options. The research advocates for intent-forward labels.
Intent forward. Okay, let's break down the mechanics of that.
You must put the highest priority option, which is booking an appointment first. And critically, you place the option after the intent.
Wait, okay. A standard menu usually says press 1 to book an appointment. What is the fundamental flaw there?
The flaw is that you give the caller a tool, the number 1, before they even know what it is used for.
Oh, I see.
Their brain has to hold on to that number while parsing the rest of the sentence to see if it matches their goal. An intent-forward label flips the structure entirely. It says, to book an appointment, say book or press 1.
Wow, that is subtle but brilliant.
Yeah.
You establish the goal first to book an appointment. The brain instantly recognizes, yes, that is my goal.
Exactly.
And then in the very same breath, you provide the solution. Press 1.
It maps perfectly onto how human logic actually works. It completely removes the working memory strain from that invisible maze we talked about. Yes. Then the third principle is urgent call front loading. If someone is dealing with an emergency, they should not have to wait through routine scheduling options. Deal with them immediately.
Makes sense.
And finally, the escape hatch. Always provide an obvious, easy path to a live person, usually by pressing 0.
Right. If someone is confused, just give them a way out.
Give them a way out.
Those principles are fantastic practical patches, but they're still just patches. We are just putting a nicer coat of paint on a rigid menu.
True.
The real transformation, the true modern solution we are seeing is eliminating the rigid menu entirely. And that brings us to the AI revolution.
Yes.
We are watching this massive industry shift into conversational natural language booking.
It's a complete paradigm shift. Yeah. Instead of forcing a patient to navigate an architecture built for the organization's convenience, the technology now adapts to the patient.
I want to paint a picture for you of what this actually sounds like. Let's say a patient calls the clinic. Instead of a menu, the system simply asks how it can help. The patient is stressed, maybe they're rushing to their car, and they just say, I need to see a physio about my shoulder Thursday after work at your Westmount location.
It is incredible. The natural language processing working behind the scenes there is not just listening for keywords.
No.
No, it understands intent and context. It knows that Thursday after work likely means a slot after 5:00 p.m. on the upcoming Thursday.
Wow.
It cross-references that intent with a live schedule for the Westmount location, secures the appointment, creates or locates the patient's file, and confirms by SMS all without the patient pressing a single key.
It feels like magic, but it is actually deeply integrated operational workflow. And the source material highlights how specialized platforms handle this natively for health and wellness clinics. We're looking closely at how Clinic Master handles these workflows. For context, they are a health and wellness clinic management platform built specifically for multi-provider and multi-location practices in Canada.
And that deep integration is key. A standalone AI phone bot is useless if it cannot speak directly to your EMR and scheduling architecture.
Exactly. So Clinic Master utilizes VoIP with an AI virtual receptionist that answers on the first ring every single time.
Every time. And it seamlessly handles that natural language booking. But the true game changer for operations is how it handles after hours and overflow coverage.
With zero voicemail.
Zero voicemail.
That feels like an impossible dream for most clinic managers. Zero voicemail.
It does, but it is real. If the front desk is busy managing a line of patients checking out, the AI virtual receptionist instantly picks up the overflow calls. The caller gets immediate assistance.
But let's say the AI determines the caller's issue is just too complex, or the caller explicitly says, hey, I want to speak to a human. Clinic Master uses a feature called EMR Context on Ring.
Yes.
I really want to dig into the technical side of this. How does Context on Ring actually execute that handoff?
Well, it happens in milliseconds. When the AI decides to route the call to the front desk, the system securely pings the clinic's database. It locates the patient profile and actually pushes that data to the receptionist's screen before the phone even completes its first ring.
That is wild. So the receptionist looks at their monitor, and before they even pick up the handset, they see, this is Sarah calling. She had knee surgery last week, and she was just talking to the AI about rescheduling her follow-up.
Exactly. The front desk staff steps into the conversation fully informed. It transforms a cold transfer into a warm, deeply empathetic greeting.
That is amazing.
And the staff has complete call queue visibility on their dashboard. They can see exactly what the AI is handling across the phone lines in real time.
For owners running multi-location clinics, this fundamentally solves the routing headache. You do not need to publish 10 different phone numbers for 10 different physical sites.
No, you have one unified phone number. The platform uses location-aware routing.
So if I call and ask for the Westmount Clinic,
the system instantly applies the location-based rules for that specific site. It uses custom scripts tuned to the clinic's specific tone. And it seamlessly switches between English and French, which is huge.
Yeah, that unified experience is so valuable. And crucially for leadership, you get a single dashboard view of call performance across every clinic.
Right.
And we should note, this workflow comes together so smoothly thanks to Clinic Master's integration partners working in the background, namely the AI virtual care engine powering the virtual receptionist and the next-gen voice platform handling the telecom infrastructure.
It is wildly complex technology, resulting in a beautifully simple patient experience.
It is. But I have to play devil's advocate here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Whenever we discuss AI in a healthcare setting, we have to confront the human element. Doesn't AI feel impersonal? A lot of clinic owners fear that automation will make their practice feel cold or robotic.
It is a valid fear, but the reality actually proves the opposite. This technology protects the human element. Think about the daily reality of your front desk staff.
Okay.
If they are chained to a headset, answering 50 repetitive phone calls a day about parking directions, business hours, and simple booking modifications, they cannot give their full attention to the patient in physical distress standing right in front of them.
We have all been that patient. You are standing at the desk trying to pay your bill, and the receptionist is holding up one finger to you while frantically whispering into a headset, trying to calm down someone on the phone.
Exactly. It is chaotic. Nobody feels cared for in that scenario.
Right.
By offloading those routine high-volume calls to the AI, your front desk gets their day back.
Right.
They can finally look the human being standing in front of them in the eye. Clinicians experience fewer interruptions, and the patient calling in feels heard on the first ring, rather than being sent to a voicemail black hole.
Prompt, accurate assistance is the foundation of patient empathy.
It really is.
Okay, so we have established the operational workflow. But if I am a clinic owner, how do I actually know this modern workflow is fixing the problem? We need to look at the data.
Absolutely.
What specific operational metrics from the source material should clinic leaders be measuring this quarter?
The absolute gold standard metric to monitor is your abandonment rate.
Abandonment rate.
Right, the percentage of callers who hang up before reaching a resolution. The target you should set for your clinic is an abandonment rate of 5 to 7% or better.
which is an aggressive goal. I mean, remind the listener, average healthcare abandonment rates frequently sit way higher than that during peak hours. People just do not wait on hold anymore.
They do not.
I want to translate that percentage into real-world revenue. Let's do the math on high abandonment rate actually costs.
Let's do it. Industry data indicates that a single missed appointment costs a practice roughly $200 in direct revenue.
Okay, so imagine a moderately busy clinic getting, say, 2,000 inbound calls a week.
Oh,
If you have a 5% abandonment rate, that is 100 abandoned calls. Let's be conservative and say only 10 of those abandoned calls were potential new patients who got frustrated and called the competitor down the street.
10 lost patients at $200 each.
That is $2,000 walking out the door every single week.
Over a year, that is over $100,000 in lost revenue, and that is a conservative estimate. A simple 1% drop in your abandonment rate can recover hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. It is not just about saving the receptionist time. It is a massive ROI.
That is staggering. You are essentially funding the technology upgrade multiple times over just by ensuring the phone is answered correctly. What other metrics are we tracking?
You need to monitor average speed to answer. With an AI virtual receptionist, your target here approaches 0 because it answers on the first ring.
Nice.
You also want to track your first ring booking rate and, crucially, your after-hours capture rate.
Because injuries do not respect the 9-to-5 schedule. If someone twists their knee playing soccer on a Sunday afternoon, they're going to pull out their phone, search for a physio, and call.
Yep.
If they hit your traditional voicemail, they will hang up and call the next clinic on the Google search results until something books them in.
Exactly. Which leads to the final operational goal. Trending your voicemail volume towards 0.
Trending towards 0.
Voicemail is effectively a dying medium in modern healthcare access. It is a completely asynchronous tool that creates double the work. A patient leaves a message. A staff member has to find time to listen to it, decipher the muffled audio, access the patient file, and call them back.
And when the staff member calls back, the patient does not answer because they are now in a meeting at work.
Right, so the staff member leaves a voicemail.
It is a ridiculous cycle of inefficiency. Eliminating voicemail entirely streamlines the operational flow of the entire clinic.
The data makes it so clear. Rigid menus and voicemail systems are relics of an era when the clinic's operational limits dictated the patient's access to care. Today, the technology exists to bend the clinic's operations around the patient's needs.
This brings me to a final provocative thought I want to leave everyone with today. We often fear that implementing automation will make healthcare feel like a robot.
We do.
But what if removing the robotic tasks from human staff is actually the only way to bring true, unhurried empathy back to the clinic waiting room?
It completely reframes the debate.
It does. For your front desk team, this evolution means breathing room. For your patients, it means immediate access. And we want to give you a very specific, practical takeaway to try this week.
Grab your cell phone right now.
Yeah, step outside your clinic and call your own main line. Time the experience. Put yourself in the shoes of someone in pain. Ask yourself, does this feel like a modern front door to my practice or a frustrating roadblock?
It is always a profoundly eye-opening exercise to navigate your own barriers.
It really is. If you find yourself stuck in that maze and you are ready to explore how conversational AI, zero voicemail, and unified multi-location routing can transform your patient access, we invite you to book a demo at clinicmaster.com or download the rollout checklist. Thanks for listening to The Pulse of Practice, Balancing Care and Commerce. See you next time.